AOC's fans like to say she's living in our heads like Pharrell Williams singing Happy. But in fact, it's the policies that live in our heads, and they should live there because we know so many people who've been brutalized by such ideas. When you hear someone talk about socialism like it's a fun new way to pay down my college debt, you gotta scream. Just prepare to be called awful things for doing so. Today, pointing out the evil of the past makes you the bane of the present.
I do think she's very talented on social media and she's got a big following, but she's now a member of Congress as a Democrat, and there's certain rules as a Democrat that you have to play by. Now, she's just a freshman. She has to realize Pinocchios are for Donald Trump. She can't be so sloppy. She's getting fact-checked all the time by the Washington Post.
So, let me get this straight. The Democratic Party, in all its infinite wisdom, is seriously floating Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as a potential presidential candidate in 2028. Like, seriously? Politics these days already feels like a reality show produced by Netflix on a Red Bull binge. But even by those standards, this is next-level absurd. And before the AOC army storms the comment section wielding hashtags and moral superiority, just hear me out. If the future of the Democratic Party is AOC, we might as well hand the 2028 election to the Republicans on a silver platter and throw in dessert. Let's start with the obvious. AOC isn't some fresh-faced revolutionary. She's not bringing bold new ideas to the table. She's not a modern political Einstein.
She's not even a diet Bernie Sanders.
She's simply repackaged socialism in an Instagram-friendly format. You know that old trick where you dust off an outdated VHS tape, throw a slick new label on it, and try to sell it as 4K? That's her entire political brand.
AOC was on 60 Minutes last night. Quite a feat for a newcomer. Must be all her great new ideas.
People are going to have to start paying their fair share in taxes. Once you get to like the tippy tops, on your $10 millionth dollar, sometimes you see tax rates as high as 60 or 70%.
What an expression. Now, the real story isn't AOC's very old ideas. It's the media's gushy view of her. Even with her old ideas, she gets on 60 Minutes. The past is called the future, and you better love it.
It's not the future. It's Blockbuster pretending to be Netflix. She's not selling innovation. She's peddling nostalgia for a failed ideology. It's like watching someone reboot Cats and expecting it to win an Oscar. Spoiler alert, it didn't the first time, and it won't now. But here's where it gets really ridiculous. The media, God bless them, has basically become her personal PR team. Legacy outlets treat AOC like she's the political iPhone, sleek, disruptive, and full of exciting new features. But she's not. She's more like a flip phone with a sparkly case, nostalgic, kind of cute, but totally obsolete. Just look at the gushing coverage. She shows up on 60 Minutes, and suddenly, she's the voice of a generation. She tweets something mildly dramatic, and suddenly she's breaking barriers. She dances in a college video, and somehow she's silencing the haters.
Come on.
That wasn't backlash. The only people writing about the supposed outrage were liberal outlets trying to dunk on a non-existent mob. Nobody on the right cared about that video. But sure, let's pretend she's some brave cultural warrior for dancing.
Went off.
AOC's delightful dancing video from last week. The media created a fake story that conservatives attacked her over this delightful trifle. Not really. In fact, the only stories written about the dance were by liberals using it to falsely smear the right. So the press creates a shield around her in which any criticism must be due to sexism or bigotry, when in fact it's in their heads and not ours.
Now, whether you like Greg Gutfeld or not, the guy doesn't hold back. His takedown of AOC wasn't just a political critique, it was a surgical dissection. He peeled back the layers of hype and hit us with a truth bomb. AOC is not ready for prime time. In fact, she's barely ready for daytime. Being viral doesn't mean you're viable. AOC may dominate Twitter threads, Instagram stories, and Gen Z's favorite TikTok soundbites, but real political leadership is a whole different ballgame. She's fun in that earnest, adorable, just got back from her first semester at Brown kind of way, full of half-baked ideas scribbled on a dorm whiteboard at 2 a.m. after a couple bong hits. But when it comes to governing a country of 330 million people, yeah, not so much.
AOC. What? She's kind of fun in a silly but earnest, wrong but adorable way. She's like your daughter when she comes back from her first year at Brown, full of half-baked, half opinions, in need of some gentle, patient deprogramming. But people have to realize new faces doesn't mean new ideas. Drives me crazy. AOC has never introduced a fresh idea or issue in her life.
And don't even get me started on the policy side. Because when you strip away the filters and hashtags, what do you really get? Tired, old, decades-failed socialist ideas being warmed up in the microwave and served as visionary. Higher taxes on the tippy tops. Government healthcare for all, with zero understanding of how to fund it. A Green New Deal that sounds like it was co-written by a stoned environmental studies major and a Marxist time traveler. It's all page one stuff from the socialist playbook of 1917.
What a compliment.
But the strategy works by preventing real criticism about her actual beliefs, which are retreads of horrible ideas from previous centuries. Socialism with a smile, fascism among friends, Venezuela meets vegan.
But here's the kicker, and it's the part that really boils my blood. The moment you criticize her, politely even, you're suddenly labeled a sexist, a bigot, or a monster. It's like criticism has become a hate crime. Wait, you don't agree with AOC? Must be internalized misogyny. Oh, you questioned her facts? You're attacking a woman of color.
Thing is, what if a woman had challenged her to a debate? So she's actually being the sexist.
I think Candace Owens did.
Oh, really?
Now
there you go.
She has, like,
because
doubled the money.
So to answer your other question, she had to cloak her weak ideas in the armor of a smear. Because she's learned as a leftist, the best thing you can do is smear somebody if you don't have an argument. And the smears actually work. Nobody wants to be called sexist or racist.
No, we're just asking the same questions we'd ask any public figure pushing major reforms and billion-dollar ideas. But suddenly that's off limits. It's not debate. It's deflection. It's not politics. It's performance art. The media's protection of her has become so intense, you'd think she was the Pentagon. You can't touch her. You can't question her. You can't even disagree without being canceled faster than a Netflix show with a 6.2 rating on IMDb. It's not journalism. It's narrative control. Critics are publicly shamed into silence while her fan base cheers like she just cured cancer with a tweet. And sometimes the worst part of AOC isn't even AOC. It's her followers. They treat every Instagram post like it's a passage from the political Bible. You could hand them a speech lifted word for word from a 1970s socialist manifesto, slap her name on it, and they'd give it a standing ovation.
AOC's fans like to say she's living in our heads like Pharrell Williams singing Happy. But in fact, it's the policies that live in our heads because we know so many people who've been brutalized by such ideas. When you hear someone talk about socialism like it's a fun new way to pay down my college debt, you gotta scream. Just prepare to be called awful things for doing so. Today, pointing out the evil of the past makes you the bane of the present.
Try poking holes in her logic, you're canceled. Try asking for a debate, you're a sexist. It's not about dialogue, it's about devotion. They don't want conversation, they want worship. And when someone like Ben Shapiro or Candace Owens offers to debate her respectfully, what does she do? She ghosts them. She pulls a full Houdini, vanishes into thin air like the debate never happened. Because if her ideas can't survive 30 minutes of conversation, they probably shouldn't be policies in the first place. Passion is great, sure, but passion without facts? That's not leadership. That's just a live-action Tumblr thread.
They gamed the system. They changed it.
And who do you see on the horizon for 2028 in the Democratic primary?
Right now?
Yeah.
Bernie and AOC.
No.
They got the biggest crowds.
That doesn't matter.
It won't sustain itself, but right now they have no leader. Okay? But this is the thing the Republican Party has to understand, too. Both parties lost in the last election. Trump won, okay? And I don't know if that's going to transfer. We should have won 4 more seats in the Senate. If you looked at the last 70 races for the Senate, 69 followed exactly the way.
I think it's Moore versus Youngkin. That's where I see it.
Youngkin would be.
Youngkin
it's going to go back to
Baggett adjacent, and then Vance and Jr. will fight it out for that crowd.
AOC and Bernie, and who's at the top of the ticket?
They're going to lead right now.
Who's at the top of that ticket, Kevin? Because if it's not Bernie, he's going to be vice president and then wait his turn?
No, it would be.
Even Bill Maher's chimed in, saying AOC might be a bigger disaster than Kamala Harris. And let's be real, tripping over that bar takes some serious effort. If AOC ever gets the nomination, it won't just be bad. It'll be political suicide. Say what you want about Kamala, at least she pretends to understand the job. AOC, meanwhile, looks more like a TikTok activist cosplaying as a congresswoman. Here's a fun question. When did performative outrage and Twitter engagement become qualifications for leading a superpower? We used to pick presidents based on leadership, experience, and, an actual track record. Now it's like, hey, she's got a great ratio on Twitter.
All of her ideas are straight out of the socialist playbook. I do think she's very talented on social media, and she's got a big following, but she's now a member of Congress as a Democrat, and there's certain rules as a Democrat that you have to play by. Now, she's just a freshman. She has to realize Pinocchios are for Donald Trump. She can't be so sloppy. She's getting fact-checked all the time by the Washington Post.
But the loudest voice isn't always the wisest one. Some of you might be thinking, but she draws big crowds. She's got momentum. And yeah, that sounds impressive until you remember Kamala Harris drew big crowds too. She had media fawning, a war chest of campaign cash, and all the progressive buzzwords. And how'd that turn out, exactly? All sizzle, no steak. Internet noise is not national viability. Twitter likes don't translate to votes. Viral clips don't pass legislation. Instagram followers can't pass budgets. You need more than enthusiasm. You need substance. And right now, AOC's entire platform feels like a college thesis that was written in one night and graded on a curve.
But people love AOC. People love Jasmine Crockett. People love Eric Swalwell and the like. And I think that the Democratic Party should put the people out there who the people want. They should put the politicians out there who the people want, who they're asking for, who are meeting the moment with the same energy that
they're not asking for AOC.
Yes, they are.
The people you party with
No. The people I party with don't like AOC.
Oh, please.
No, they don't at all.
Well, most people don't.
But
she's
AOC
very far left.
Look, nobody's denying she's smart or media savvy. She's got charisma, presence, and a knack for turning 280 characters into a cultural moment. But that doesn't mean she should be running the free world. We need grown-ups in the room, people who understand how things actually work, not just how to get likes. If the Democrats think AOC is their 2028 savior, they'd better start writing their "we tried" speeches now. And while we're at it, let's retire the idea that every critique of AOC is rooted in sexism or bigotry. That kind of deflection is killing honest debate. If your political ideology can't withstand scrutiny without invoking identity politics, maybe it's not that strong to begin with. Bottom line, AOC might be the queen of the Twitter town square, but that doesn't make her fit for the Oval Office. Her ideas are recycled, her facts are wobbly, and her refusal to engage in real debate speaks volumes. Leadership isn't about being adored, it's about being accountable. And if 2028 really is shaping up to be the year of AOC, the Democrats might be in for a reality check harder than the 2016 election night coverage. So, yeah, we'll say it loud and clear. The Emperor has no clothes, just a very stylish Instagram filter.